Every single click, every search, every page we visit, it all leaves a trace. And when you put it all together, it creates this kind of digital ghost, right? A shadow self made entirely of data. But what if you could actually piece together that ghost from nothing but a list of links? Well, let's see what story B's links have to tell. So here's what we're working with. We've got this data set, a collection of over 150 bookmarks from one single user. But there's no name, no age, no location, nothing. All we have are the digital breadcrumbs they left behind. It's like a collection of clues without a suspect. So that's our mission here. We're going to do a little digital investigation, like a kind of archaeology of the very recent past. And we're trying to answer one big question. What kind of person does this browser history belong to? Really, what's the story hidden in all this data? So our investigation starts by sifting through the most obvious layer of digital dust we can find in these bookmarks. And it does not take long to find it. I mean, the second you look at this list, one thing just screams out louder than anything else. This is not a casual user. We are dealing with someone who has a deep, almost obsessive level of technical knowledge.
But what kind of technical expertise are we talking about here? See, it's not just about knowing how to use computers. It's about fundamentally reshaping them. This person, they're an architect of control.
Their profile that's starting to emerge is what you'd call a Linux power user. Now, for anyone who isn't familiar, this isn't just someone who installed a different operating system. No. We are talking about an individual who treats their computer not like a pre-made appliance, but more like raw clay that they can mold to their exact specifications. And the evidence for this is, well, it's overwhelming. We're seeing bookmarks for compiling custom Linux kernels. That's kind of like building your own car engine from spare parts. They're using things called dot files to perfectly automate their entire computer setup. They're exploring really advanced tools like Hyperland and Sway, and even have guides for building their own mail servers. It's a lot. This level of effort goes way beyond a simple preference. This points to a core philosophy, a deep desire for complete control and ownership over their digital world, totally free from the constraints of big companies like Apple or Microsoft. It's basically a declaration of digital independence. But just when we think we've got a clear picture, this technical purist, the data throws us a massive curveball. If this person is so good at building their own systems from scratch, why do we find page after page of bookmarks that point to something completely different? Because right there, mixed in with all the technical mastery, we uncover this really consistent pattern. They are actively circumventing and bypassing mainstream paid services. And the difference is just stark. Look at this. Instead of buying a Windows license, they have links to scripts that activate it for free. Instead of subscribing to Netflix, they're all over sites like Torrent Galaxy and F-Movies. Instead of an app store, they use something called AppImage to sideload applications. Now, this doesn't feel like someone who can't afford it. This seems like a very deliberate choice to operate outside the normal system. And their toolkit for doing all this? It is extensive. We see bookmarks for all the big torrent sites, the Pirate Bay, 1337X. They use these premium link generators like RealDBrid to make their downloads faster. They run network-wide ad blockers and even have guides on how to strip copy protection from HDMI signals. This is a comprehensive strategy for getting totally unrestricted access to media and information. But this rejection of the mainstream, it isn't just about consumption. The evidence we're seeing suggests they're also an active participant in building a totally different kind of internet. And that vision, it lines up perfectly with this concept of the decentralized web. The whole idea here is to build an internet that doesn't rely on massive servers from Amazon or Google or Microsoft. Instead, it's powered by a network of individual users. It's the ultimate expression of that control we saw earlier. And yep, the bookmarks back this up completely. We see them using Cloudflare tunnels to securely host their own services. They've got an account on Storage, which is a decentralized cloud storage platform. They're looking into Lemmy, which is a federated alternative to Reddit. And they're using modern tools like Astro and Nuxt to build their own websites, all managed through their own DNS. They aren't just logging off. They're building something new. Okay, so let's bring all these different threats together. We've got the technical mastery, the rejection of the mainstream, this drive to build an alternative. What kind of portrait does this actually paint? Well, when you map it all out, the picture becomes incredibly clear. The extreme customization, that points to a worldview of total self-reliance. The systematic piracy, that suggests a pretty anti-corporate stance that values unrestricted access over everything else. The interest in decentralized tech shows a deep distrust of the centralized giants. And then you sprinkle in the last few clues, bookmarks for lectures by the philosopher Alan Watts and discussions of Lenin, and what you see is a mind that is fundamentally critical of the status quo.
And that brings us to our final portrait. Our digital ghost isn't just a tech enthusiast. They are a digital dissident. They're someone with the skills to not only reject the systems they disagree with, but to actually build viable alternatives from the ground up. They're self-reliant, seem to be principled, and are absolutely operating by their own set of rules. You know, in the end, this whole exercise is a good reminder that every day we're all writing our own biographies in data. We leave behind this digital trail of who we are, or maybe who we want to be. This user's trail tells a fascinating story of rebellion and reconstruction. And all of this leaves us with just one final provocative thought. If someone were to do this exact same digital autopsy on your data, with zero context of who you are, what story would they tell? Your browser history is your biography. What does yours say about you?